Firstly, when we created the film trailer, we wanted it to follow the same conventions and look realistic and professional like the trailers we had researched. We wanted it to be similar in some ways to them by using the same conventions as what they had used. Uh, the way we implemented this was we looked at the structure of trailers. We found that there was sort of a three-part structure. Um, the first part was be sort of the introduction to the trailer, to the characters, and the sort of establishing a character, which would be our antagonist, which is the James character. Secondly, we would delve a bit more into the story, find out a bit more what was happening, explained a bit more, and then finally the third section would be a sort of a climax, leading up to a climax, a lot of action sequences, which left the audience on a cliffhanger that made them want to come and see hopefully make them want to watch the film in full. So, like I say, the structure of our film trailer was broadly based on what we'd seen in Shutter Island and Great Gatsby. The three-part structure more clearly in Great Gatsby, but the action sequence we found from the Shutter Island trailer. You can see that at the end of the trailer in Shutter Island, and also we included our action montage of clips in a sequence at the end of our trailer. Also, we used scenes from throughout the movie, throughout the filming, as basically we filmed the piece as if it were an actual film, and then put that together, and then later edited all the clips we had used into a main master. All the sequences that we had filmed correlated to create a trailer in the end. But we did this because we found in our research that it wouldn't just be a certain scene used for the trailer. It would use a collection of scenes from throughout the film it was advertising. This is, in a way, telling a visual story, and it helps us establish more than just one character, basically. We get to see a few characters in the film and sort of get a picture of what you're about to see, really. We use voiceover instead of using titles to explain the story. We found that some trailers did, in our research, use text and sort of titles, as in it would say this summer character A is a lonely man, but the way we did this instead was by using the visuals on screen and the use of voiceover from a character to explain what was happening. We did the same thing basically with voiceovers. This was something that we found as a convention used to tell the story in different trailers. We also added a Motion Picture Association of America ratings title at the start of our film. This was the green slate you see at the start, which said approved for appropriate audiences. We'd found this also in our research because this is used basically just to tell the audience who should be viewing the trailer. It's included in every Hollywood trailer that you see, so for that reason we included it in ours, so it was look more genuine and authentic as a trailer, which is what we attempted to achieve, a professional looking trailer. As you can see from our trailer, we continued with using the same production company as we used last year. This was Hanging Tree Studios. You see we included a Hanging Tree Studios slate straight after our MPAA logo. This is what we found as a convention. This was used in other trailers that we researched, that straight after the green MPA logo we would see the production company name. For ours it was Hanging Tree Studios. Slate at the start of our trailer. This, as you can see, isn't the same as last year's. We wanted to make, as last year we used the sort of title to in effect of a horror film, but this year we wanted it to look more generalised, as if this movie studio company had not only been creating thriller films, they've been creating different types of films basically. So it was a broad looking production company logo. We also included a credit slate and a title slate at the end of our trailer. We found in our research that firstly we would see a title which had the same font and the same colouring used as what you'd find in the poster. So we put this at the end of our trailer, and after that we would use a credits section, a credits slate, and this lasted for about 5 seconds, which is the same as what it would last for if you actually saw it on a trailer. It's worthy to note that most of the timings of different sequences and different slates were judged by what we found in our research, how long they would last for on how much screen time they would have. Not so much a convention we used. One we sort of challenged was in all using 2 different genres that are very contrasting. I'd say that thriller is a much different genre to romance, so we wanted the first section of our trailer to look like a romance, a rom-com, trick the audience into artificially thinking that they might be about to see your usual rom-com. So that's why you see a lot of similar footage to what you might find in a romantic trailer, and in a way corny and a bit same old, if you know what I mean. Also, with the thriller aspect, we highlighted this with a change of music and a change of scenes, a change of from sort of swooping shots of love and oh I'm in love close-ups. We used a lot of action shots, quick scenes, quick editing, split edited, etc. This sort of highlighted that it was a thriller trailer as well. I think the sort of combining of the 2 different genres is hybridisation, which is sort of adds to the postmodern aspect of the trailer. To carry on that theme of postmodernism, as I previously mentioned, I would say that the trailer is quite postmodern in its not only its story, but also its in the way it's telling a story that has already been told through through non-fictional events, through real events, and then sort of using a character that is inspired by these events and creating a fictional story out of that. I think that's very postmodern, using the same themes but developing them, which you can see also by the use of a split of 2 different genres. Another convention used was the use of soundtrack. We used various different pieces of music to highlight different sections. So we use a romantic piano melody at the start, which had a quite slow tempo to it, which sort of built up and slowed the audience into it. Slowly had the connotations of love and slow romance, that sort of thing. Secondly, the music would then change to highlight James's line where he says, "You're not going anywhere without me." This signified a change in the trailer, and it was the music from there went a bit darker, a bit more of a minor key, and this highlighted the second section. And then the third section was driven by drum beats. It was much faster and allowed the editing to be intertwined with that to be much faster as well. Also with the soundtrack, I would say that from what looking at the conventions used in the trailers that we researched, they used various different pieces of music. So that's why we used 3 different pieces of music in our trailer. Another convention we found using trailers, particularly of thriller films and action, sort of create an epic feel to it. Like we saw in Shutter Island, the use of fades to black for dramatic effect. We see this when the police officer enters James's room. It sort of leaves the audience on a knife edge, sort of anticipating, wondering what's going to happen next. And it was also a good end to the second section, we thought. Also, the use of sound effects. Like I said, the banging of the drum that highlighted the drive in the beat. We also used some Foley work of knocking on the door because we didn't think the knock was loud enough and there was some wind noise from when we actually recorded it. Instead we did Foley to re-record the knock so it was a much better, clearer sound. Also, when we were editing the montage section, we didn't use audio at first and it felt a bit artificial, so we went back and looked at trailers and we found that even though the section might not necessarily leave the sound, the diegetic sound of what you see on screen sort of helps to establish what's happening rather than leaving the audience just in silence to the actual scene. Finally, I would say that it as a whole conforms with the sort of size of imagery. We used a widescreen where you can see the top is cropped off. This is what we found used in many trailers, as that's the sort of cinema view effect you get from it, like you would see it in a cinema with the sort of scaled down effect, widescreen. Also, we uploaded it in HD, 720p HD, importantly, because that was the maximum size we found that was used on trailers on YouTube, actually, 720p HD. So we also included this as the size in our trailer.